Hey, welcome to the second devlog of Coal Miner, a roguelite about exploring planets and mining resources all the way down to the core. There's a lot of exciting stuff to talk about today, but let me start by addressing the room in the elephant. Yeah, last video was a while ago, and the game was on pause for several months for a few reasons, but I got back to it and now I have a ton of new stuff to share with you. So let's start fresh and dive into this mining roguelite inspired by Terraria, Deep Rock Galactic, Minecraft, Starfield, wait, no, wrong game, Starbound. Definitely Starbound. But let me first answer this simple question. Why am I making this game? But more seriously, for as long as I can remember, I've always been a loot goblin, drawn to ores and gems in games. And while I've played a handful of mining games, I'm now left with a need for something that doesn't really exist. A top-down mining game that lets you explore a great variety of unique biomes with a strong sense of progression through upgrades. One that really lets you play how you want and reward your curiosity. There are quite a few mining roguelites out there, but in a way it always felt like they shared a similar recipe that needed a new flavor, to me at least. Which is why I wanted to give it a shot myself and make my own version of an exploration and mining roguelite. So, is this my dream game? I don't know, maybe. Is this project way too ambitious for a solo dev? I don't know, likely. And am I finally going to show you the actual game? Nah, I don't think. So let's get into it. What is Coal Miner about exactly? At its core, it's a roguelite, meaning it is based on a run system, and after each one you can get permanent upgrades, which allow you to play future runs differently, with a ton of new possibilities. Just like when you talk to the strange mirror in Hades, or when you get a huge mining rocket in Wall World, or when in Risk of Rain 2 you finally convince enough crabs to jump off the cliff and unlock a nice fossil. Point is, those things will be available to you in future runs. And in Coal Miner it will be the same deal. You'll travel to a new planet every run, explore its different biomes, each with their own features, and with the resources collected you'll be able to upgrade your gear back in your space station. For instance, improving your mining equipment will allow you to clear hard obstacles, giving you access to new areas within biomes that you previously couldn't reach, or getting environmental protection, which will allow you to venture into extremely hazardous places. It's simple on paper, but now let's get into details. I will skip a few things for now, but here's how run would work. You drop from space and land on the planet's surface with your mech, then activate your plasma drill and send a devastating beam all the way down to the planet's core in order to dig and soften the ground. This will result in making the planet's electromagnetic field extremely unstable, at which point your time will be counted. You can then jump in the first biome and start exploring freely. And note that the lower part of the plasma drill will detach and drop with you for the expedition. This is the biome drill, which you will be using to keep drilling down to the lower layers of the planet and to send resources directly to your space station. You'll have to restart it, we'll see how in the future, and then keep heading down in the deeper biomes. After a few layers, you'll finally reach the end of your expedition, the planet's core. And I'll cover this in another level. What am I saying? And I'll cover this in a future video, sorry. But that is the general structure of a run. Now how about we take a look at biomes and their content. Biomes are separated into 3 tiers based on their depth. and their content and loot will be balanced accordingly. So the deeper you go, the better the loot, but the more hazardous the biomes become. Every biome layout will be made entirely by hand, but randomness will make them different each time. As mentioned in the first devlog, the player's camera angle is random, points of interest will be random, resource clusters are somewhat random based on the biome, art will have variations as well, and even certain mechanics may change every run. And if you're worried about the maps being too repetitive and easily recognizable, you'll be happy to know that I sometimes get lost in my own layout. Another cool biome feature I haven't talked about yet is the outskirts area. Every biome will have one or multiple zones, which differ from the rest of the level, and they will have several purposes. The first one is that rare and unique resources will have more chance to spawn in the outskirts, encouraging exploration for better loot. They will offer more challenge and feel like a new small sub-biome to make exploration more interesting. But to reach the outskirts you will need specific upgrades, mostly related to your mining level, but also related to environmental protection, which I briefly mentioned earlier. We'll see more of that in another one. Now let's take a closer look at the biome you've been seeing this entire time. This is the Shimmering Caves, the first biome in the makings. At first it seems like a bland and lifeless cave, but a mysterious colorful liquid flows through it and grows life around. I call it the Shimmer. Very original, I know. And this is a tier 1 biome, which will be quite peaceful and chill to explore. Also, I should mention that this is definitely not the final look of the game or the biome. Everything is pretty much temporary just to have something to work and play with. So that's the biome that was already in the first one, and you've been seeing it this entire time. But how about a new one now? Today we will dive into the Sand Tomb, another tier 1 biome that you will find on rocky planets. This is a sandy and rocky biome near the surface in which you will find fossilized remains. Here's the first concept art, and as you can see, sunlight will actually reach down in the caves. But that's not what makes this biome unique. Because it's very open, sand will constantly fall from the ceiling and fill up the caves, meaning some of the paths will be blocked after a few minutes, while new locations will be available to you. The outskirts area are not yet defined, but they may be a thermal area with hot springs, or maybe an ancient mysterious temple. It's still just a concept, but I thought it would be cool to share a new biome idea each video, and get feedback on them already. So far this devlog has been pretty much on the surface level, but I wanted to lay down proper foundations again, especially after this long gap. There's so much to show and talk about that I had to go for a more general approach to cover more, but I would love to hear your feedback on this. Please let me know if you find this format and pacing nice to watch, or if you would like more focused devlogs on specific topics. Once I have introduced most of the game, of course. By the way, I'm still pretty much a solo dev, and by that I mean that I do all the programming and the visuals. Music will be a different story, and some good friends occasionally help me out and contribute to the project, like with concept art. Call it solo dev if you want, or don't, cause apparently there are rules. But what truly matters in the end is the quality of the game, and I want to make damn sure that this game is fun to play. I was thinking of potentially creating a Discord server for the project, in which I would post progress updates and more content, and also potentially host playtests in the future. So let me know if you'd be interested in that. I would love to hear your thoughts on the game and on this devlog. And that's about it for today. If you want to see more, feel free to subscribe, cause next time we'll take a look at some pretty cool stuff. Thanks for watching and have a good one.